Hi, welcome to section 7.5. We're going to be factoring trinomials, and I'm going to show you something that's called sometimes the diamond method, the X method, or the box method. Okay, so when you see a trinomial, most of the time you'll see it here in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So the way that we're going to start solving is it's kind of like a puzzle or a game. So you're going to draw a big giant x. You're going to put whatever number is here at the end, which is c, up here on top. And what that means is you're looking for two numbers that multiply to that number c. But then at the same time, those two numbers, whatever is here is for b, you're going to put down here, those two numbers have to add up to b. Okay, so we are going to start with number 3 here. And what I like to do is I always like to write down what a is, which is 1 in this case, b is, which in this case is 12, and then c in this case is 20. Okay, remember we're going to put c up here. So we'll put 20 up here, and we'll put 12 down here. And now we have to think of the factors of 20. So I'm going to write this on the side just so it's a little easier to see. Factors of positive 20. It's 1 times 20, right? 2 times 10, right? And then 4 times 5. Okay? And now we have to think of these, because those are the factors of 20, which one add up to b, which is 12? Well, it's going to be this pair right here. So then we're going to put those two numbers here on the side. So we're going to put 2 and 10 here. Great. And now we can factor this. And factoring is just the opposite of multiplying, which we did earlier in this chapter. So I'm going to put my two sets of parentheses. And then I'm going to put an x here because x times x is x squared. My signs are going to be both positive because both of these signs here are positive. And then I'm going to put my two numbers here, 2 and 10. And that is fully factored. And if you want to check it, you can multiply it out. X times x is x squared. X times 10 is 10x. 2 times x is 2x. And then 2 times 10 is 20. And then when we add those up and collect like terms, x squared plus 12x plus 20, we get our correct answer. Okay, I'm going to skip over here to number 11. We're going to stick right now with just the positives. So c in this case is 100, so I'll put that up here. B in this case is 20, so I'll put that right here. And so now what two numbers multiply to 100, but add to 20? So we can write them all out, but I think you can figure this out. It's going to be 10 times 10, because 10 times 10 is 100 when I multiply, and 10 plus 10 is 20. So I'm going to put in my two sets of parentheses here, and then I'm going to put my two x's here because x times x is x squared, and then I put it plus 10 plus 10. And the easier way to write this one, since it's two binomials that are exactly the same, we're going to write it as x plus 10 quantity squared. Okay, let's move on to number 12 here. 16 goes here, 10 goes here. So what two numbers multiply to 16 but add to 10? So let's think. 1 and 16, that doesn't make 10. 2 and 8, does that make 10? No. Oh, maybe it does. Let's check one more. 4 and 4, that definitely does not. So here it is, 2 and 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 plus 8 is 10. So we're going to do our double parentheses here. X plus 2 and x plus 8. Okay, so now let's move on to when there's a negative. Okay, I'm going to do this one right here that has one negative and one positive for c. So the c is going to be 2 up here, and then b, which is -3, is going to be down here. So now, since it is positive 2 and one of this is negative, I know already that there has to be a negative in my problem somewhere. So 2 is easy. There's only the factors of 1 and 2. But 1 times 2 is positive 2. It is not, when I add it, -3. But then I know that -1 times -2, that definitely makes positive 2. -1 plus -2 does make -3. So there's my answer. I'm going to put x. Now this is where I put minus 1 here, and then x minus 2. Okay, let's do another one like that one. We'll do number 9 right here. What number goes up here? 25. What number goes down here? Negative 10. Okay, two positive numbers, or I mean two numbers that make positive 25 when I multiply them. I know it's 5 and 5, but 5 plus 5 is positive 10. So it's going to be negative 5 times negative 5. Negative 5 plus negative 5 is negative 10. And then I write my double parentheses, x minus 5, x minus 5. And to make it cleaner, since it's two binomials, we just put x minus 5 quantity squared. Okay, now let's move to this problem here. This is where we have a negative for C, negative 12, and a positive for B, 4. So now we have to think of what two numbers multiply to a negative number. So that means one of them is going to be negative and one of them is positive. But when I add them, it comes out to be positive 4. So let's write this on the side to make it a little bit easier. Okay, 1 times 12, and one of them has to be negative. Now since this B is positive, the higher number is going to be positive. So I'll make that one negative 1. When I add that together, does that make positive 4? No, it makes positive 11. Okay, let's try this one. 2 and 6. Again, one of them has to be negative. So we're going to make this one negative. And if you don't know to make the 2 negative, we could also try it and then check our work to see if that's correct. But because this 4 is positive, I've learned that the higher number needs to be positive here. When I add these together, does it make positive 4? Yes, it does. Great. So let's move it here. Do my 2 parentheses, and it's going to be x minus 2 and x plus 6. Now you're going to hear me say check your smile. Here's what I mean by check your smile. I want to check this middle term. So I'm going to multiply these two together. That makes negative 2x. And I multiply these two together. See, it's like a giant smile. And that makes positive 6x. And positive 6x plus negative 2x definitely makes positive 4x when I add them together. So that works. All right, let's move to another one. We'll jump down here to number 8. Okay, remember 12 goes up here, negative 8 goes here. So what two numbers possibly could make 8, negative 8 when I add them? Well, 1 and 12 will never make 8. 2 and 6, yeah, that could make 8. But let's see. I think that it's going to be negative 2 times negative 6. Well, negative 2 times negative 6, that makes 12. Perfect. Negative 2 plus negative 6 does make negative 8. So we draw parentheses. We do x minus 2. I'm sorry about that. And then x minus 6. Sorry, so messy here. Okay, let's do another one right here. We're going to jump to number 7, and this is when there's 2 negatives. Okay, so let's try this. I'm going to put negative 100 up here and negative 21. All right, so now I have to have a negative number here. And I'm going to show my work here on the side. I'm going to write out all the factors of 100. I know one of them has to be negative, right? So if I put negative 1 and 100, that makes negative 100, but when I add it, it makes positive 99. Oh, it has to be a negative here. So that means my negative is going to go to my higher number. That still makes negative 99, and that is just way too big. I need negative 21. Okay, let's try 2 and negative 50. Does that make negative 21? Nope. When I add them, it makes negative 48. Okay, let's try 4 and negative 25. When I add those together, is it going to make negative 21? Yes, it does. All right, so we got it. Draw your 2 parentheses, and then we're going to put x plus 4, and then x minus 25. All right.